The long game. Parallels between movies and today. Again, 3 story areas. Legend, HP equals Harry Potter got equals Game of Thrones 2024 election. The long game activity underlies all of the Harry Potter, Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon stories. The long game is rarely mentioned, but the subject of the game, always way off in the future, is the main driver of the storyline, and perhaps our future also. In the Harry Potter stories, the long game is destroying Voldemort, aka Tom Riddle, and his army of Death Eaters and other fellow travelers. Voldemort, the active form of the Tom Riddle boy, represents pure evil, and the ultimate action, well maybe, is the disintegration of Voldemort during the battle for Hogwarts in the final Deathly Hallows story, being the final movie part 2. His destruction, via disintegration, is conditioned by first destroying all of the 7 Horcrux devices, including that part unknowingly transferred from Voldemort to Harry as a child when Voldemort killed Harry's mother. The supposed last part of Voldemort's split-off soul attached itself to Harry, without Voldemort's awareness. This fact is hidden from the readers through the entire story series, until Harry gets to see the saved memory of a conversation between Severus Snape and Dumbledore. Harry does not even know this until right near the end, but Harry does know that in order to kill Voldemort, all the Horcrux parts of Voldemort first have to be destroyed, through the use of appropriate weapons. These destruction phases occur through the storybooks, but mostly in the last half of the Deathly Hallows film. The destruction is done by various characters in the storyline, with the very last Horcrux, carried by the snake Nagini that belongs to Voldemort, and is destroyed by the Sword of Gryffindor by Neville Longbottom. At that point Harry can disarm Voldemort from operating the Elder Wand and assuredly know that Voldemort can finally be killed, thus ending the long game. In the Game of Thrones stories, the long game is the destruction of the White Walkers, their prime leader the Night King, and all of the zombies raised out of the power of the Night King. Initially, King Aegon the Conqueror very early in the storyline has a dream vision showing him the eventual arrival of the White Walkers, come to wipe out and subjugate all of the living in Westeros, maybe even Essos and all to the east. Aegon sets up the awareness of this only passed down through the kings, and queens, of Westeros. The rest of the population is never really told this. Aegon gets a prophecy about Azor Ahai, born of his Targaryen line, as being the savior of humanity, and much of storylines are about, who will that Targaryen person be? Remember that George R.R. Martin never finished the books that would have otherwise sourced the last 3 episodes of GOT. So the showrunners and writing staff had to make the storyline up as they went along. In absence of knowing who would destroy the White Walkers, the writing team or the showrunners, perhaps, went for woke and had the character of Arya Stark become the killer of the Night King. She does this with a special knife made of Valyrian steel that she stabs into his belly. The knife appears in many of the stories as an innocuous weapon. Stabbing the Night King in his belly shatters his ice body, and in consequence the remaining White Walkers and their individually raised zombie army members. Bran also has a hand in this. In our time, the long game is not a destruction activity, or so it is hoped, but the working out of the arrival of the Nefelim who kicked off the creation of humanity on Earth. As with the HP and GOT storylines, the next major arrival of the Nefelim is off in the future, and the population of Earth has no active knowledge of what their eventual arrival means and the subsequent consequence to humanity.